Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Galavant Season 1. Galavant is a show that a lot of people have forgotten about. It came out in 2015 on ABC. It is a musical comedy for some bizarre reason. I have no idea why, but it's created by the people who made what's that called? Tangled and something else. A lot of people assume this show came out after Glee and all those other musicals that came on TV around this time, but no, this was actually the first. This came out in January. Shows like Glee and shows like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which did come out in 2015, came out months later. I don't know because let's see, Glee was on Fox and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was CW. And you know how those TV networks are. When they hear one network's creating something, they jump on board and try to come out with it before the other person does. So which show originally came up with the premise of making it like a comedy musical? Who knows? But Galavant beat them to it. Now, I remember watching this back in the day. I'm not a huge musical fan. When it comes to musicals, I just like Disney animation and the music and stuff like that. However, there are some shows that I've watched like Buffy and Xena that had a musical episode, and I thought those was really cool. But other than that, I'm just not for like musical shows. Sorry about that. Somebody was ringing my doorbell. Anyway, so this show had a lot of famous people, and some people I didn't know, but now I know, and some people I knew before, like Anthony Head. He is the father of Galavant. I remember him from Buffy. Giles from Buffy. Remember him? Vinnie Jones, who was the Juggernaut. He plays Gareth. Timothy, and I'm going to have a hard time saying his last name, Amundsen. He was Eli from Xena. And I'm trying to think. Oh, Luke Youngblood. Magnitude from Community. Pop, pop. He was also that one black dude who was all like in the Harry Potter movie. The first two was all like 50 points Gryffindor. They got rid of him fast. And so, like, I also remember Weird Al Yankovic. He's in this. He's a monk, and he sings a song called "We're the Monks." Hey, hey, we're the monks. And so, like, that's pretty much all the people like I knew. Like everybody else, like John Stamos, Uncle Jesse from like Full House. He played like a fighter and stuff. Ricky Gervais, he's in this. But everybody else, like I had no idea who they were. Now I know who Karen Davis is. Karen David, she is in Fear the Walking Dead. She also had like she was in Once Upon a Time as Jasmine, and she was also in Batman Begins as like a lawyer or something like that. Now, when it comes to the main actor, Joshua Sass, or Sassy, how do you say it? Probably Sass. I have no idea who this dude is. He kind of looks a little bit like Hugh Jackman, a little bit, but with a beard, and he kind of doesn't. He's in some new show now. He hasn't done much since like Galavant came on. But like when I heard all these big names, I'm all like, oh heck yeah, I'll check this out. Even though I'm not a huge musical fan, but I like the first season. I think the first season's pretty okay. Like it's silly, it's goofy. I could do without the singing, only because I'm just not into musicals no more. But like, it's an okay show. Like, there's some jokes that land, there are some that don't. It kind of rushes by very fast because the first season's only 8 episodes, 20 minutes. So there isn't much time for character development. It's what you see is what you get. However, with all the main cast, there is one who really had no character development. And take a big black guess of who that could be. Luke Youngblood, who plays Sid in this, he really has no character development. What you see in the beginning is what you get at the end. Everybody else has like brief character development except for him. And he's the only black dude in this entire show. Go figure. Oh, Hollywood, boy, I swear. But this show only lasted for 2 seasons on ABC. And like I said before, you know, Glee and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend came shortly after this show. And so, like, a lot of people remember this show. Like, a lot of people still tweet, like, Karen David about this show. They just now recently, this year, added it to Hulu and everything. And, you know, because a lot of people forgot all about this show. There was one DVD, but it's out of print now. And it's like a lot of people have fond memories of this. Like sometimes you just want to like sit back, like laugh at something goofy and hear a couple of like songs. The songs were all right, you know what I'm saying? But like I said before, I could do without the music only because I'm not really into musicals that much. But it's set back in those fantasy, fairy tale looking type things of knights in shiny armor. Galavant, that's his last name, but they just call him Galavant. His name is Sir Gary Galavant, and he's this like dashing, charming man, you know what I'm saying? And it's like he is in love with, oh wait, I forgot to mention her, Mallory Jansen. Oh man, what was she in? She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think. And something else. Oh, Young and Hungry on ABC Family. I used to love Young and Hungry. With Emily Osment and stuff. But like he's in love with her character. She, Madalena. And they're like madly in love. But then she is captured by Timothy's character, King Richard. And King Richard throws her in the dungeon, and he, like, you know, keeps her there for a good long while, and he forces her to marry him. And so Galavant, being the Galavant person, the Prince Charming person that he is, he goes there, he bests the soldiers and everything, all while singing the song, because people constantly breaking the song in this show. And so, like, he's there, he's whooping on the guards, he's ready to get, like, you know, Madalena back, and, you know, like, I'm here to save you. And she's just kind of like, now she's queen, and she's been there for a good while, she's just kind of like, you know what, like, I'm good, like, you know, I like being a queen, and I like the money, and you know, like, I tell people what to do when they do it. So, but we can just be friends, right? And so he's thrown out the castle and everything like that. So I think a year passed, and he's just been living like by himself along with Sydney, aka Sid. And he's just down in the dumps. He's no longer a warrior. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's lost the love of his life and he can't go on no more. Well, in comes Karen David's character. Now, her character has a very, 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 very long name. Her name is Princess Isabella Maria Lucia Elizabeth of Valencina. Lord Jesus have mercy. But they call her Izzy for short. And she goes to him, you know, asking, you know, I need like a warrior because King Richard like took my kingdom and enslaved my parents and stuff like that. And, you know, I freed myself, like I escaped, and I need a warrior to get my kingdom back, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't want to do it. And so, like, she sings a song, and, you know, she reminds him why he's like a warrior and everything. And so he finally decides to do it. However, it is quickly, and I mean quickly, revealed. Like I said, this show goes by fast. So it is revealed that she is working for King Richard. Yes, her parents are captive, but they let her go in order to trick Galavant into coming there so they can kill him and everything. Just in case he never tries to like get the queen back and this and that. So Galavant doesn't know, and she's keeping this dirty secret. So, as they're traveling and everything, and they come across like some type of like circus type thing, and for whatever reason they get captured. And in order to free themselves, they have to fight like the champion or whatever. And so that's what John Stamos' character comes in. And so both men are just like, well, what she does is that she's afraid Galavant is gonna lose because so she's afraid he's going to lose. He's out of shape and he hasn't fought in over a year. So she poisoned the John Stamos character. And all you see is his helmet and green throw up slime just sliming out his mouth. Well, both men are on the horses and they're going to joust. And they go really, really slow. And they bump into each other and they both fall off. But the first man to his feet gets the win, and that's Galavant. And so what happened is that there is some type of crown jewel type thing from her village. And it's a giant green rock. And Sid, for whatever reason, bid their lives on it. So they had to get the jewel back and all this other crap. Anyways, as you would probably guessed it, as him and her are spending time, they start to have romantic feelings for each other, especially her. She feels guilty. She wants to tell him the truth and everything. But he never lets her tell the truth because he's always running off the mouth and singing. They meet a bunch of pirates. And so, like, them and the pirates, they hang out, they sing, and blah, 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 and stuff like that. Well, over in the castle side, you have King Richard, who acts like a giant man-child. You have the wife who cheats on him with the jester. And so, like, at some point, his brother shows up. And his brother's very evil. And at some point, him and the chef, because for whatever reason, they were going to kill the chef. And they were going to kill the handmaiden of, like, the queen. Well, Chef ends up falling in love with the queen. They have a brief character development where the chef wants to rebel against them and live. He wants to fall in love with the handmaiden. She's all like, no, I'm a peasant and everything. I have lived my life and I'm ready to die by the hands of the queen and blah, 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 blah. So she just doesn't want to live. But then he convinces her to live. So that's the tiny bit of character development they have. So anyway, we get like a flashback scene through a hallucination of a drug, and we see how like the king became king. He used to be a fat kid. His dad died. His mom, who was the queen, she, the sons have to like take up. Well, he has the older brother. The older brother doesn't want to be the king. And he's all like, I like to conquer stuff, but you're just giving me the title. I don't want that. So they're going to give it to Prince Richard. But then as soon as that's about to happen, the other prince is all like, you know what, I do want the crown. And he takes it from him and makes fun of him and all this other stuff. So he has all these issues growing up. So they're trying to redeem the evil king. And so it's kind of pointless because, like, it would have been nicer if he would have stayed evil throughout the entire season instead of turning good and getting betrayed by, like, his brother. His brother takes his queen and everything. Vincent, Gareth, Vinny character, Gareth, like, he's been appointed to Prince Richard ever since he was a kid. They're best friends and everything. He's really tough around the edges. And so, like, he has to betray, of course, his best friend, and he doesn't want to because he is a new king in town. And so Galavant and their people, they come to rescue the village, but then he finds out the truth about Lizzie and everything. And so, like, as they're in the dungeon, everybody about to die, they like get out somehow, and then they throw Richard into like the dungeon, and then him and Galavant, of all people, bond. They sing, they get drunk, and it's kind of like this, kind of a little too fast. Like, the evil king is now good, and he's best friends now with, like, Galavant. Why? Because he needs a champion to fight for him. Because that's how he's gonna get the kingdom back from his brother. Gareth is the king's champion, and he and Richard picked Galavant. And so they bond, they be friends, they try to free everybody while drunk, but then they act stupid and get caught again. And so, and a twist of events, because there's twists left and right in this show. So of course Lizzie and Galavant, they fall in love. Um, what is it? Gareth comes in and he frees everybody. And he tells them, he put, well, first what it is, he took only Richard and Galavant and he gave them to the pirates so they can go far, far away and never come back. Why? Because he doesn't want to kill King Richard. That's his best friend. And so he tells them straight up, if y'all ever come back, I have to kill you then. But he made the group people stay behind. Then he frees the group. But he takes Sid with him. He's all like, I need insurance. So he tells the other ones, just pretend to like knock me out and take the keys and pretend like y'all escape. Everybody is trying to knock him out, but they can't. So he's like, just take the keys, man. But he takes Sid. So, it turns out that like early in the episode, because Lizzie and her parents, they get freed and stuff like that. They want Lizzie to marry her cousin, her 10-year-old cousin, so that they can have his kingdom and this and that and be taken care of. So she doesn't want to do that, and then they call it off. But then once they're freed, they need a place to go. So her and the rest of the group, they go to her cousin. He traps her in a giant dollhouse and all like, this is the way you're going to live forever and ever until we get married, cousin. So Galavant and what's the face, King Richard, they're on with the pirates and everything. But what about Madalena and Richard's brother and Gareth? Well, and another twist. The queen stabs Richard's brother and everything. And then she appoints Gareth the king. I know, like this is all happening too quickly in just 8 episodes. So of course you got a second season and all this other stuff happened. I just don't really like the second season all that much. Like I liked the first season. The first season was interesting and I was curious to see how everything was gonna go. But then once it got into the second season, I was just kind of like, like it just doesn't really seem all that interesting no more. And of course it got canceled. But this show does bring back fond memories. I haven't watched it since 2015. It's literally been that long. It feels like it's been longer than that. And, but it brought back some good memories, you know what I'm saying? Because this came, I remember, on Sunday nights. And if people wasn't watching, like, The Walking Dead, they was watching this. And this was a show I was watching along with Once Upon a Time. Before I started watching The Walking Dead, because I didn't even know what The Walking Dead was until I finally saw it. And then once I finally saw The Walking Dead, I was like, screw you, Once Upon a Time. Because Once Upon a Time started getting boring. But yeah, it's just, this was like a really unique, interesting show. It was around a time when musicals really weren't on TV at that time. They took a chance. Ratings were like okay, but not great. But it paid off for them to get a second season. But a lot of people tuned out of the second season. It just wasn't enough for them to stay invested, and it just got canceled. And nobody thinks or talks about it till this day, which is really ironic. But you can find a lot of the songs on YouTube, especially Weird Al's We're the Monks. Hey, hey, we're the monks. I love that song. And it's weird, like Weird Al. I think he changes his voice sometimes because he talks in his squeaky voice on the show, but then he talks in a deep voice by mistake at one point in time. But yeah, it was just like a fun little show. Like it's on Hulu, so you can check it out. Both seasons are on Hulu. It's just one of those things you just gotta watch like once just to see what it's about, like, experience it and everything. You'll see a lot of famous people, like the woman who's the handmaiden lady. She was on Downton Abbey after this show got canceled. She went right on to there. And and Timothy, he went on to like a Woody Woodpecker movie, which I remember they were talking about that was coming out. Then they scrapped it. Then they put it like on direct to streaming and stuff. The trailer did not look impressive at all. I wish they would kind of leave older properties alone, but hey, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.